Good day, my friend. Wishing you and yours the blessings, the hopes, the trappings, everything that you are entitled to. I wish you peace. The holy word of peace, as a great Prophet Omega would intone. I wish you nothing but to be able to luxuriate, unencumbered, unimpeded, unmolested by those aspects of life which you do not deserve. You deserve nothing but peace, unfettered, uninterrupted, glorious, just peace. Just to be let alone and to be respected and loved. That's it. That's all I want. Just to be left alone. Isn't that a wonderful concept? Just leave me alone. And what that means is, that doesn't mean don't interact with me, don't say hello, don't let me share your world. But let's just think about what this, just leave me alone. Let me be. I want you to be who you are, but I also want you to be better than you are. And one of the things I want you to do when I leave this world, and one day when I pass into the new ether, that new dimension, when my spacesuit gives out and my balloon, because life is a balloon, you're the air in the balloon is who you are. And when that becomes deflated, I want you to say, you know what he did? He taught me how to think. I think differently. I analyze questions differently. I don't just answer them. I think. I think, therefore I am. I think. And I love issues. I love to break everything down. I love the joy of thinking. Thinking. And what is journalism? What is this thing we talk about journalism? Define? It's making people think. It's not merely just me telling you something, but I want you to think about this. I want it to do something. You know, when you have there's a restaurateur, one of my favorites. I'm not going to mention his name. He may not. You got to remember, people may not want me to mention their name. But we were talking one day. He says, "You know what I want people? I mean, I don't want to just feed them. I mean but I want people to talk about it. I want people to think about this. I want people to, oh my God, I want people to think about this." I am one of the greatest. One time, remember that time, honey, we went to a lecture. Was that on hot dogs? Remember this? It was on hot dogs. It was what you were there. It was the most fascinating thing. I even bought the book, a little book. How it's the story of taking a casing, an intestine, and basically filling it with meat. That people did this and smoked it and saved it. And how also the parallel universes, how different groups of people all merged together, and somehow, I don't know how, but somehow they all came up with the idea simultaneously. You know, in the world of comedy, there's something called, somebody told me, parallel development. What that means is this. Somebody said one time, how do we know that when we close the refrigerator door, the light goes off? Not the funniest line, but it was an observation. Of course, by the way, if you have one of those refrigerators that have, you can see through. Anyway, somebody said it. Ha, ha, ha. Never thought about that. You know, somebody else somewhere has said, how do we know that the light went off? They never met each other. They never knew each other. But it was a parallel development. It was an observation that somebody at some point is going to make. Just like when mankind trod upon the world, trod upon the earth, somebody looked up and said, do you think there's anybody up there? So different things will develop. So the guy who came up with sausage, somewhere in China, somewhere in Italy, somebody came up with the same thing. Same thing with fermented foods. They didn't travel. Breads, baking. fermentation, alcohol. So this chef said, I want people, when they leave, not just to feel full, but I want them to learn something, to appreciate it, to talk about the food. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that wonderful? Wasn't that wonderful? Did you see what he did? Wasn't that great? I just, there's something about experiencing something. You want to go make some fries at home? Take a bag of Oritas, throw them in your air fryer, which, by the way, isn't that a wonderful thing, the air fryer? Have you read about air fryers? Wait a minute, what? Have you read about them? Have you done your research? Any concerns you might have about air fryers? Anybody? Here's what you just... Well, what could possibly be a problem with just heating up air? You didn't read, did you? What do I tell you all the time? Read. Read. Look it up. Question, 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 question. Question. But anyway, Oritas. What are you going to do? You're going to go and use speed them? Okay, fine. Have you heard about this one? Michael Greger talks about this one particular substance in fried potato skins. Have you heard about this one? You haven't, have you? You never looked it up. I would if I were you. I would definitely go for the boiled or the mic'd. Just saying. What? You didn't know that, did you? No, I didn't. Wait a minute. I just assumed. You what? You just assumed. Oh, okay. Well, maybe. You see what I just gave you? 6 minutes into this, I threw all these things here. What's with potatoes? Air fryers? Aren't they good? I'm not saying they're not good. Did you read up on them? Anything? No. Anything? No. Why not? You see what you do? You're not curious. You're not curious. You wonder. Do you know how many times I've been researching? Is there anything wrong with microwaves? Yeah, I know how microwaves work. I understand. It causes the molecules to vibrate and everything. But is there anything new? Something about that thing. I don't really know. Remember when gas stoves were all the thing? I was researching left and right. Is there anything wrong with gas stoves? Maybe they are. What about induction? Have you seen the induction ovens? Those are kind of neat, aren't they? But they really, gas doesn't. I want to have, you know what people always have? They want to have in their backyard? Well, first of all, pizza oven. It's not a pizza oven, but a wood fire oven is the greatest thing in the world. You got to have one of those things. Just not just because of pizza, but just in general. Because it's a different flavor. It's a different everything. But you know what I really want to have one day too? One of my dreams? Because I want to have one of these kitchens that I want to have one of those Chinese those wok BTUs that like a jet engine, like an afterburner. We put the big wok on top when you go like that. And I think that's the greatest thing in the world. That's my thing. I got to have one of those. You put the thing. Oh, I love that. Here's one for you. You know that thing that restaurateurs do? You know when you have a thing you flip? Do you ever do that? And you think it's this motion. It's not. So I was looking. Where do I got to do that. I just love the way they do that. I was like, how do they do that? And there's this one, I saw this video of this Chinese chef doing he was doing double, it like a tsunami. Nothing spilled. It was beautiful. How does he do that? I had to know. And I saw this one video, thank God for YouTube, this one video that had a little pan, a little thing, and they had Cheetos, the round ones, and it's front and back. Front and back. But it's got to be curved. So when you go like this, do you ever have one of those, those, you take those big, remember when the silver bowls came out? Who doesn't have a bunch of silver bowls in your kitchen? Somebody came up with that idea. I've got these Tupperware things with no lids. I don't know where these lids went. I got these lids over here. I got this one. I don't know. You don't throw them out. They cost nothing. But no, I'm going to find this lid. I'm going to find it. I know I am. It's somewhere. But you know how you go like that? Right? Because you use the curve. The way you take like a salad or something, you don't go like that. But yet, when people get a pan, they go, Why am I telling you this? Why am I wasting your time? What is he talking about? I want you to be this question mark in the Mysterians. Remember him? When the great Latinos. Did you ever know his name, by the way? You never did this, did you? You never knew his name. Remember, 96 Tears, question mark, and the Mysterians, right? Question mark. That's his name. Question mark. Mysterians. See what I'm doing right now? Anybody who watches me says, he does this a lot. He does this. You know that? He always looks things up. Do you do that? Probably not. Probably not. Look at this question mark in the Mysterians. Question mark in the Mysterians. Who was his name? Remember his name was it Frankie Rodriguez? I got to get the lead singer. Question mark. The stage name of Rudy Martinez. Now, did you know Rudy Martinez? Did you ever know how people, Sam the Sham, Wooly Bully, got it. Latino Americans. Hello, are you with me? Am I getting through to you? Is this too much? Is this too much? Because what? This is Sunday. Is that it? Is that it? Have I not said hi guys enough to hi guys? Hi guys. Immerse yourself in everything. Be a flood of question everything. Everything. Where did this go? Okay. Now here's one for you, and I'm warning you right now. I'm warning you right now, and I'm telling you right now. I just did one of the best ones ever on my private channel on balloons. That's right. You and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons with the money we got. Set them free. Nina. How many times do I play Nina? I think Nina's my age. You know that? Nina's my age. She's like a grandmother. She's fantastic. Great. But this is my private channel. Now here's the issue. And we're missing the whole point. Today I walked by, I had Fox News on the background. It was the most stupid thing I've ever seen. I don't. How you watch that? I have no idea. That's all I'm going to say. I have no idea. How you watch anything like that? I don't know. Anyway. The questions. In today's version, I explained the ad caelum doctrine. What is that? Let me ask you a question. Let's say you walk outside. You look outside your door. You got a big piece of property. Big. You got your house there. And you got a teenage daughter. And she's, got her door showering. And all of a sudden she says, Dad, Mom, yeah, what? I think there's something out my window. And you look, and there's a drone with a blinking light taking pictures of your daughter on your property. What do? It's kind of like the balloon thing, sort of. But that's not the issue. The issue is, what are the issues? How would you go about answering that question? How would you go about answering that question? How? Okay. Before we begin, let me tell you a couple of things. I'd like to talk to you right off the bat about one of our sponsors. Oh, and I was thinking about you. That's right, our friends at Z-Stack. And why is it so terrific? Look, read for yourself. There's the link. There's my link. You're smart. This is what I love about this. This is what I want to focus in on. Number one. As I've told you before, you're not eating the right stuff. Please, I'm not giving you a hard time. I love you. So in order for you to make up for that, you have to help yourself out. And supplements in a real world would not be necessary, but they are. Because you're not doing it. And people say, we don't have a balanced diet. Oh, no. Is it bioavailable? Are they phytonutrients? That's it. So in this one zoo flu configuration, which by the way you get 15% off if you got to use this link. And by the way, if you're watching this on a phone, you got to go to click the more thing. Anyway, you click this, and lo and behold, what do we have? Well, we got a couple things here. First, very interesting, we have the following. 3 things I like the most about this. First of all, zinc, because people are talking about flus. We're talking about viruses. We're talking about keeping ourselves safe. Zinc is critical. Vitamin C is critical. From the days of Linus Pauling, vitamin C is just perfect. Remember, is it bioavailable? Is it bioavailable? Just because I'm pouring in, dumping here's 10 pounds of vitamin C. Is that good? Is that good for you? What happens? Can you have too much of it? Can you have too much of it? Ascorbic acid. You ever hear about this? Do you have any, and I'm no doctor, you have any predisposition to kidney stones? Have you studied this? No, not really. Not really. Okay. Zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D. Oh my God, vitamin D. Oh dear God. Guess what they're saying now? Research vitamin D. Just research it. Look what they're saying now. It's D2, D3. D3 from animals and plants. D2 is from like yeast and mushrooms or something. Vitamin D3. Do you know what your serum D levels are? Probably not. Dr. Greger is the best on this. It's almost a hormone. It really is a hormone. It's linked to everything. And again, remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just telling you what I see. And also what it has is quercetin, flavonoids. Oh my God, I love that stuff. See, what I eat a lot of, and I know you don't, are the deep green, bitter. I love greens. And I love things that are like blueberries with the blue, dark, I love colorful things. Dark greens, and because flavonoids in particular are wonderful antioxidants, which happen to comport and happen to coincide with the coloration of leaves and the taste. And that's what you need. Because why? You know what I care about? You know what the most important part of my body is? The endothelium, the lining of the lumen, specifically regarding coronary arteries. That's it. That's it. Also throat, this, you know what I mean? Carotids. So, enough with this. Do yourself a favor. Take it from me. Read it for yourself. But if you use my code, you get 15% off. It's so smart. Done. They have gummy flavors because you're not eating right. Okay? And that's it. That's it. I'm not going to hit you over the head with it. You know what to do. Now, let's go to this question. Here's my question. You look outside. And we've seen this before. Remember that night, honey? We had this little drones outside there. It's like, wow, this thing's high up. What is it? Because when you give certain things certain names, like balloon. It's just a balloon. Have you seen the memes? What's the difference between a balloon, a blimp, and a dirigible or dirigible? Here's what nobody just said when I asked you that. Let me look it up. No, you said, I don't know. What is it? That's the way you act. I'm sorry, but it's true. You sit back and you just let people say and answer the question for you. A blimp is basically like a balloon. Like you blow it up, and there it is, and it just kind of goes. But if it's controlled, if it's an airship, if there's a frame, you know they say the Goodyear blimp, it's not really a blimp, but if it's controlled, if it has a frame like a Zeppelin, like the Hindenburg, that's a dirigible or a dirigible, depending upon where you're from. Did you know that? Did you know that? Airships. I think an airship would be great. I don't know why. I don't know what you want to do. Just kind of floating around. Just, I guess. It's like almost like the pontoon is like the forgotten watercraft. It's like, is it going to float? Anyway. But what's the issue? What's the issue? And by the way, if you have read anything about ufology or anything about it, one of the things that they always say that, well, not always, but they always suspect is what people believe to be something interesting. They always say it's either Venus, planet Venus, swamp gas, my favorite, or a weather balloon. And weather balloons are different. You know, those long, like teardrop inverted. That's a weather balloon. So here's the first question. Is it the fact that, in my hypothetical, that there's a drone on your property or a balloon or whatever it is? Is that it? Is that the problem? Do you call up the police and say, hello, yes, there's a drone that has traversed my property and it's trespassing? Is that what bothers you? The fact that there's this little thing there? Because in the old days, from common law, and I explain this in great detail on my private channel, but in there's this wonderful thing called the ad caelum doctrine. And at common law, when you own a piece of property, if this was your property here, here's my Christmas thing. If this is the property, if this is your property, dare I say, if this is it, your house, you own everything below to the center of the earth. Mineral rights, gold, water. Initially, this was common law. And then above, to the heavens, ad caelum, coelum. That's it. That's trespass. And there is nothing that is more defined and more loved and respected in our system of jurisprudence than property rights, riparian rights, littoral rights, Littor, shores, mineral rights, water rights, easements. If we still have bar exams, you'll spend more time on easements, prescriptive easements, easements by implication, if you own a piece of property, right there, and the only way the public can get to the beach or whatever is through your property, guess what? You got an easement. You can't say, sorry, folks. You can say, no, this is necessary. We need this. Sorry. You have any cables going under your property? Or, yep. Any power lines? Yep. It's an easement. Yep. Got to have that. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Here's one for you. You build this beautiful property and you say, I'm going to be off the grid. I want to have my own solar collection panels, my own solar and everything. And I'm next to you. And I build this thing. It's so high. And I have that right under common law, under the ad caelum doctrine. I build this structure. It is so large, so huge. It blocks your solar collection panels. You say, wait a minute. I can't work this. So, you may have an air and light easement, and they're sold. We sell them in New York. The easements, it's this concept. This was never before even contemplated. But here's my question. Is it the fact that somebody is trespassing? What is it that is of your concern? It's the data. It's the surveillance. That's the issue. Not that there's this. It's not like when your ball goes next door and you got to go in the backyard. You ever do that? Like, hey, our ball went next door. Is there a dog there? Is somebody in your group was elected to jump the fence, grab the ball, I'm in their lawn now. And you come back, By the way, that's trespass. That is trespass. I have no license to be there. When you're driving down the road, trying to loosen your load, you got 7 women on your mind. If you're driving on the road, and you say, wait a minute, this is the wrong way. And you pull into a driveway, back up, that's trespass. But the defense is necessity. You had to do that. If you're in a prison and the prison catches on fire and you escape, that's necessity. They can charge you with escape, but your defense is necessity. I had to do it. This has all been kind of figured out. But they never talked about surveillance. It wasn't the information. It was the fact that you were just there. I'm going to tell you a story about Nino Scalia, which was very interesting. A little bit about Nino Scalia. And most fascinating, okay? Most fascinating. Now, I want to tell you about something which is very, very, very interesting. Have you looked up right now and just Googled or researched EMP, electromagnetic pulses? Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Use my link, which is important. And this is an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. And there is a company, veteran-owned, out in the Midwest, and they've invented a device that you can hook up to your vehicle, to your home, made here, that will protect your home and your property against an EMP. And it's undergone testing at Keystone Compliance, which is a military-certified facility. It's listed by the Department of Homeland Security. And as I mentioned before, it doesn't just help your vehicle and your home, but your generator, solar system, solar collection panels, ham radio, RV, and much more. So use this. Do the research. Please read this. I tell you this all the time. But do yourself this little favor. Go ahead and read. Read. Just put in EMP, Carrington event. Remember these coronal solar flares in 1800 something that just took out every telegraph? Just read this. Use your head. Go behind the news, behind the headlines, and just listen. And just look what I'm saying. This isn't a hard sell. You'll know what I'm talking about. You'll say, oh, boy, I'm glad there is EMP shield. Yes. And a lot of people are too. Okay? It's one of those things that try to explain this to folks, but I know you understand. Now let me explain something to you. And this is the thing that I wish I could. We're not going to spend time on anything on TV, because frankly, they don't have the time. To be fair, they really don't have any time to do this. But our initial jurisprudence had no concept to surveillance. It just didn't. I think, what was it, Katz was the first case ever that dealt with eavesdropping, going into a payphone, putting a listening device on a payphone. I mean, I was one of the last prosecutors ever to prosecute an obscene phone call case where we had to go to the pen register folks at the phone company. I mean, it was one of the most complicated prosecutions ever. Records and, oh my God. Because people would, this woman, I gotta tell you a quick story. There's a woman who was just petrified. She had this, we had to apply for a pen register. I had to go to the phone company and put this device on her phone. She kept a diary. We didn't have caller ID. Didn't have cell phones. Had a phone. And the phone would ring. And if it was this person, she had to, it was terrible, keep him on the phone as much as possible. She had like people listening to her. And they're going, how do you keep, an obscene phone person on the phone by saying, really? What else? You can't, it's weird. You have to, normally you say, stop it. Or as I used to suggest, is tell people, I know who this is, and hang up. And they don't call back anymore. But anyway, so she writes down the time, and then she has a diary, and then we go to the phone company, and some guy says, okay, 603, it came into your home, and it's this number. 604, and it's the same number. And you have about 12 of these numbers, and they say, do you know this person? No. Okay. It turns out she went to and the defendant was this guy with kids who says, I don't know. Maybe it's my kid. I mean, he looks so innocent. Turns out, during the Christmas holidays, he worked at a department store, which is now defunct, but he worked at a department store. And when she was writing a check or something, she was like paying with a check, he had to take the information out and got her phone number. Lo and behold, she looks at him and says, wait a minute. And then puts them together and he was found. It was a misdemeanor. It was the most, SEC litigation is less complicated. We had records and the custodian of the records, and you're going to, it was a pain in there. But the law was and had to be, I think it was abusive or obscene, and prior to that, we didn't even have, it had to be letters. Before the statute that had obscene phone calls for phones, it was only through the mail. This is how slow prosecutions change. So then it went to the phone, and then, okay. Stalking was unheard of. If you went to a court and said, I want to prosecute this guy for following you. For following me? Well, yeah. Well, he's annoying me. He's annoying you? Everybody's following you. Go outside. Go to Times Square. Look, all these people are following you. How do you know they're not following you? I can't follow you? Seriously. Well, then there was the murder of that poor girl. Remember my sister Sam or something? With that, Marcia Clark was a prosecutor. That, I'll never forget that fellow, that really scary looking dude. Anyway, things changed. Okay, long story. Now here we are. And we're looking at, interestingly enough, not only trespass, but surveillance. Let me give you an example. Listen to me carefully. Nino Scalia. There was a case years ago, I forget which one it was, but the DEA or some law enforcement went to the property of somebody's home and put a GPS device on a truck. I don't think they got a warrant or whatever it was. So anyway, Nino Scalia actually did the right thing and said this was a violation of the Fourth Amendment because of blah, blah, blah. And you go, oh, that's great. Hey, who knew Nino was so hip that he understands it? Do you know why Nino was against that? Do you know why? It wasn't because of, well, you would think. He objected to the fact that it was that it was a that somebody had trespassed on the property, past the curtilage to enter the home or the property to put the GPS. He didn't care about the information. He didn't care about the surveillance. He cared about the fact that they violated this property right to do this, that the cops trespassed. And he said, Nino, that's not it. It's the information. It's surveillance. So you see what we're doing now? We have these. Okay, now here's the best one for you. And you're going to love this. Yeah, this one blew my mind. And I did it this morning. In this, again, let me just say this again. I say it again, and I repeat it with all due respect. If you want to hear this, and I also have my citations, I always provide you with a citation. This is my private channel right there. And I go through the statutes and show you how we kind of break this thing down. But anyway, but first and foremost, more importantly, I want to do two things. Two things I got to talk about. Number one, my friend at My Pillow. Now listen to me. This is one of these ones that's like, pillows. This sells itself. Yes, I know. This is a story. This is an American story. This is an incredible story. A journey, dare I say. But look at what's going on. Right now, you get a one-time free gift if you use a promo code. You get a promo code, right? You get a free gift. But look at this. They've got right now mypillow.com // By the way, the slash is a solidus or a virgule. You get, they have the My Pillow 2.0. Buy one, get one free. This is it. You know how McDonald's has the French fries? I think that's like the basic. This is the French fries of My Pillow. It's the pillow. My Pillow 2.0. Buy one, get one free. Bathrobe closeout sale. Giza sheet sets. My Pillow percale sheets. The overstock sale, up to 80% off. Look at this. My slippers, knocking them out of the park. And it goes on and on and on and on. You could just washcloths, hand towels, quilts, gossamer blankets, throw blankets, waffle blankets, down comforters, duvet. Oh my God, it goes on. It's just terrific. So do that, but only use promo code Lionel. Nobody else's. Don't listen to anybody else. And by the way, that number, if you don't want to use a landline, is 800-645-4965. And I've told you this before. This was one that people say, I got you on this one. I got you. My Patriot Supply for emergency food. Again, this is one of those ones where I don't want to belittle, but it just makes so much sense. There's no discussion. Emergency food, yeah. Well, here it is. The best. Go to preparedwithlionel.com, preparedwithlionel.com. Go ahead and look. And you'll say, wow. Because at first I thought, emergency food. Is this a hardtack? Is this what is this, crackers or something? Something you would have on a Greek galley ship in the 19th century? No. And you can save up to $250 on a unit, a food unit, for 90 days per person. You're smart, you're brilliant, you get it. And what you should get is this. Go to preparedwithlionel.com, preparedwithlionel.com. Okay. Now here's what we're going to do. Hypothetical. Let's assume you, in the hypothetical I gave you initially, you decide that you don't like this drone outside. And you decide to take it down using perhaps a firearm, or let's just take with it. It's on your property, the lights going on, and you can see this lens moving, and they're taking pictures of your daughter on your property. You never consented to it. This is clearly trespass, right? And you use some self-help and you destroy this thing. Here's my question to you. Is that against the law? Is there civil and or criminal liability involved with it? Now, of course, the answer always is it depends. That, of course, is the answer for everything. But let's go a little deeper. Is this a violation? Yes or no? You call the sheriff. Number one consideration as a former prosecutor. You're using a firearm before we get to anything. Are you discharging a firearm in public? What's the law about that? I don't care why you're shooting it. If there's crows, or if you're happy, if the Super Bowl, whatever it is. Discharging a firearm, that's going to be a problem. So let's move on. What if instead of using a firearm, you use some other device, some other means, a laser, a hose, a net, something, I don't know. Or whatever it is. What's the law? You're out there, you come behind it, and assuming, and a couple of things from a practical point of view, I don't know if there's a GPS on it. Does the owner knock on the door and say, excuse me, yes, we were in the backyard taking pictures of your daughter. Did you? You could say, well, yes, I destroyed it. Or the usual drone. Okay, either way. Think about this. Trust sessions. Where is Jeff Sessions? Whatever happened? Another example of they just disappear. Fascinating. Okay, let's look at some of these statutes, shall we? Here we go. This is one. This is Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 32, destruction of aircraft or aircraft facilities. Aircraft. Whoever willfully sets fires to, damages, destroys, disables, or wrecks any aircraft in the special aircraft jurisdictions of the United States or any civil aircraft used, operated, or employed in interstate, overseas, or foreign air commerce. Anyone who places or causes to be placed a destructive device in or upon, sets fire to or damages, destroys any air navigation system. There's 7. They talk about interferes with or disabling. Well, the first thing is performs an act of violence against or incapacitates any individual on such aircraft. Okay, that's it. Terrorism, piracy. But first of all, the rule is a drone? Is this an aircraft? Is this an aircraft? A drone? They got it at a store? It's got cameras on it? Is this what they're talking about? What is aircraft? Look it up. Go to the definition section. What is aircraft? You ready for this? Aircraft, under this section, the term aircraft means a civil, military, or public contrivance. A contrivance? What is contrivance? Contrivance is a device, a gadget, a machine, an appliance, a contraption, an apparatus, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's start from the beginning. The term aircraft, this is under the definition section of 18 U.S.C. Section 31A1, means any civil, military, or public contrivance invented, well, thank you, as opposed to what, spontaneously created, anyway, invented, used, or designed to, here we go, navigate, fly, or travel in the air. Now, without going into detail, who remembers those great little planes? Remember with the rubber band where you throw it like that? Remember that one? Is that a contrivance invented, used, or designed to fly in the air? Now, we're going to go through this. I mean, certainly this cannot possibly be. But did you know this? Did you know this? But here is the issue. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. And this is what I don't care about the drone. To me, the drone is like you running across the, putting a little camera on my window and then running back. That's not, it's a camera. It's the data. It's the information. You are violating my space. I understand that they're the ad coelum doctrine. I understand their easements. I understand commercial aircraft and plane. I understand that. But we have to deal with surveillance. So when you talk about balloons or you talk about whatever, it's not the object itself. It's, well, what is it? This is the emphasis. So simple, so critical, that it doesn't seem to get. Our beef is not this. We've had statutes. I told you before, as a prosecutor one time during the Super Bowl, we had, it was Tampa Stadium then, now it's the Raymond James, but I think the first time they had a Super Bowl, they had all kinds of trespass cases that were thrown out. Because under the Florida statutes, a structure, because you could trespass or burgle, a structure, conveyance, or a dwelling, and Tampa Stadium we thought was a structure. Well, the structure was defined as a building, permanent or impermanent, that had a roof over it. It didn't have a roof. And you read these things, like, where did you mean that? I've heard DUI cases where they charge somebody who's on an electric, not ambulette, but one of these little scooters. That's a motor vehicle. I don't think it's a motor vehicle. Could be. I don't know. Or a horse. Is that a motor vehicle? Read the statute. What does it say? I don't know. These things are written, and every time you write something, there's a kind of a little catch to it. Now, here is what is important. When you talk about data, we have these friends, some of the very nice people, but they don't get it. I said, do you realize that when you have your phone, if you're allowing either foreign countries or domestic countries or operations to absorb your data, your information, your everything, they looked at me, they just couldn't grasp it. They didn't understand. What do you mean data? Surveillance? I'm not important. I've got nothing to hide. That kind of thing. That's the problem. Our laws are more into the trespassorial. We're not talking about, what are you doing? What do you think a spy is? What are people... That's the issue. Information. Information is currency. Data. You are a composite of data. You. Where you go, whom you know, what you see, what you own, what you use, what your money. You are a huge... I can break you up into metadata. Put them all together into this big pot. And from that, act accordingly. All right. So like I said, LionelMedia.com. If you want to hear, I go into great detail, kind of what needs to be done next. I also want to tell you right now, it would behoove you immediately to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors on Twitter. Immediately. There is stuff going on you simply have no idea. I've got some stuff on my channel. I don't even want to bring it up. New forms of surrogacy, new markets. How do I say this? It's very dark. It's very dark. Because for the most part, people do not like to go deep. I do. That's simple. Sorry. Unfortunately. Also, please follow me at the following right now. At Twitter, if you are wise, if you are smart, you will do so accordingly. You will do so instanter. And that is that. And I got to tell you something right now, my friends. These are the most fascinating of times available. And your ability to navigate and negotiate everything is dependent upon your ability to critically think. I've been saying this. And when it comes to journalism, that word is so overused and overhyped. Journalism should not just say, here's a story, this is what happened, which is true. But it should do something. It should give you the basis. It should inspire interest. I'll give you the facts, but also allow you perhaps to take it a little further. So you'll talk about it. Because everything is interesting if presented the right way. All right, my dear friends. That's it. You have a great and glorious day. It's warmed up today. Honey, it's 36 degrees. Yeah. It was 5 yesterday, which was very nice. People went crazy. But what are you going to do? Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for being not only who you are, but what you appear to be. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please. Oh, God. please. And hit that bell so you'll be notified of live venues and the like. We need your data and your input. Your subscription is a validation, the likes of which we just cannot put into words. It is that simple. So please, please, please subscribe. See you tomorrow, my dear friends. Have a great and glorious day. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, it's your new best friend, Lionel, reminding you the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.